Ah, c'est un joli soir maintenant. Mesdames et messieurs, bienvenue. What's happening, people? Welcome back to Football Yannick. As you can see, I'm wearing a beret because this evening I feel French. Although, yes, I am half French. Donc, je continuerai la production en français parce que je suis très contente avec le match dans Paris. Yeah, I won't speak French, but yeah, very, look, man, come on. I'm being a knobber, I'm wearing the beret, I'm cheering for a regime in Paris Saint-Germain I, disagree with, although the team's very exciting, and come the final, I would like the old boys of Inter to win. Although, it is a likeable team, footballer team in PSG, and I will give Arsenal credit, of course, here. But there is a wider question to be asked that will follow up this result. This is the 5th straight season that Mikel Arteta has gone trophyless with Arsenal. Now, he's been successful by points total measures. Well, he did finish 8th twice, which of course is not good. But, now he's instilled his methods and he's settled, and we've all trusted the process, or certainly some of the Arsenal fans in the Arsenal hierarchy. He's doing what the owners want, and that is consistently finishing in Champions League places, qualifying for the competition, which therefore brings the money, and that's essentially keeping the owners happy. But are the fans happy? 5 straight seasons without a trophy. And then he did win the FA Cup, at the against my mob, Chelsea. Though there is people say that was Unai Emery's team, that was Unai Emery's, method still instilled. It was early doors for Arteta. Was it? It's not even a full season he had with him. I don't think. So correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. And of course, me as a Chelsea fan will remind you that this is where the hate affair with Anthony Taylor started. Of course, this was pre-VAR. Pre-VAR, this is how long ago it was. And Mateo Kovacic got sent off for being stamped on. So that's where we were. And of course that, Pulisic scored our goal and then went off with a hamstring injury. So lots of unfortunate stuff happened with Chelsea, and we lost 2-1 to Arteta's Arsenal. I don't want to discredit or take it away from him. It was his win, but there's some that say, it was Unai Emery's players, etc. Since he's developed his team, he went through a couple of painful seasons, 8 place finishes, and then built his team. They became good. They are good. They're a good team. He's a good coach. They're finishing, quite high up the table constantly. But Five seasons without a trophy is a lot. Did Wenger do that? Wenger was just always winning the FA Cup every now and again. Did Wenger go 5 seasons without winning any trophy? I'm not so sure. Again, feel free to correct me in the comments. Big questions. I'll be very interested to learn what Arsenal fans want. But it was a very interessant match. 2-1 on the night, which is probably about par. Arsenal giving a good account of themselves in the end, but PSG at home probably edging them, and ultimately it was the home game for Arsenal that screwed themselves. Of course they weren't out of this. If Arsenal went there and won, which they were capable of doing, really, they could have got to the final, but they didn't. And PSG Inter will be playing in Munich, I believe. So here we are. Here we are on the score for reference. Arsenal, as you can see here, had a lot of attacking momentum. Of course, remember PSG were always ahead in the tie. And as soon as they scored this goal, which was a Fabian Ruiz banger. Both of them were, Hakimi as well. They were like, yeah, no worries. But they did get a little, shaken up a little bit. Look at this early Arsenal pressure in the opening stages. They really came out to play against PSG and jump all over them, and they were pressing really well. David Raya named SofaScore man of the match. Donnarumma, both goalkeepers are excellent, to be honest. The super highly dynamic and attacking fullbacks, Nuno Mendes, or Mendes, however you say, because he's Portuguese, isn't he? Hakimi, the Moroccan superstar, Marquinhos, who didn't have the greatest moment against Saka, Pacho, of course, and then Ruiz, Vitinha, and Neves, an amazing midfield, but it's not physically dominating. So Arsenal went to sort of bully them. Of course, Dembele wasn't fit to start, so we saw Barcola, Doué, and Kvaratskhelia playing. Kvaratskhelia very much. Look at his heat map. He was very much playing defensively, Kvaratskhelia there. Barcola playing on the right. So I guess it was Doué that did a lot of, central playing. No one really occupied the central role, especially those starting players there. No surprises whatsoever in the Arsenal starting lineup. You're in Timber, Saliba, Kiwior, and Lewis Skelly. We can talk a little bit about the young man in just a moment. Declan Rice, I thought he played all right. Obviously getting the yellow there. Odegaard pressing well. He is an intelligent presser, not having the greatest game, just not had the greatest season. Thomas Partey, of course, returning into midfield for this leg, which pushes Mikel Merino up top and Martinelli. And as you can see, it's the same against the last leg. Look at Saka with his goal and his rating, 7.9 there. Obviously, these are just silly website ratings, but they do go by metrics. But the biggest compliment I pay Saka is he looks like a PSG player in terms of the context of these ties. Do you know what I mean? Like, the quality drop off in the Arsenal front line is mad. So that's where I have a little bit of sympathy for Arteta. But then again, I know he really wanted Mykhailo Mudryk, and Mudryk has a lot to give. He does. Of course, it's hard to settle at Chelsea. There's the doping thing, so that's a whole nother story. But he did. But at the same time, Trossard was a cheap signing. He's 30 years old. He's whatever. He's an auxiliary for. He's not like Galactico. I know Mikel, but then again, Mikel Arteta, he got his players. He got Jorginho. He got Sterling. Of course, he wanted Jorginho to come to City. He worked with Raheem Sterling at City. Wanted him to come to Arsenal. He's big on signing Havertz, and he sanctioned Arsenal to pay Havertz £300,000 a week, like a massive wage. I'm not a Havertz hater. I'm grateful for what he did for Chelsea. I think he's a very interesting player, unique player. I think he's a very, very talented, silky player. I just think he's so hard to implement and get the max out of him. To pay him like an elite striker wage is crazy. I think Saka also is on massive money, but he's worth it because he's mustard. Do you know what I mean? La moutarde, he's un joueur très bien, So, you look to the bench, and what's he got? He's got Trossard, obviously Sterling's not getting on the pitch here. For maybe Ethan Nwaneri come on, but he goes for Trossard, Calafiore, and Ben White. Let's just quickly have a look at the stats for this game. On the left hand side of your screen. Oh my god, an ad. YouTube, don't demonetize me. Here's the stats then. Arsenal, oh my Gideon, 3.14 expected goals. Wow, had you'd score those, you would have done well. 4 big chances. So they did have chances. 19 shots. It didn't feel like they were that dominant, personally. Did it feel like that for you? 4 big chances. Often you score the big chances of goals. So that would have been 4 goals. And that would have been enough. Of course, early doors, there was bookings. Nuno Mendes and Declan Rice, and then we saw the Fabian Ruiz goal to really chill everyone out in terms of the Parisian fan base. A volley, wasn't it? It was wicked. It was just a venomous shot, lovely goal, back of the net, 2-0 on Ag to the Parisians going into half time. And then look, Lewis Skelly gets a yellow at the beginning of the second half-ish, 10 minutes in, and then you get a penalty awarded. I think Hakimi kicks the ball against Miles Lewis Skelly's hand. And look, it's a UEFA rules penalty. I doubt you get that in the Premier League because he's kicked in his arms in the air. And I know UEFA are just really strict with handball penalty, so I'm not surprised to see it given. I do have a bit of sympathy for him. I have a bit of sympathy for Miles Lewis Skelly generally because he got a yellow here. He conceded a penalty. He's got a couple of red cards this season. But he is a child that's been thrown in I think he was playing for the under-18s and wasn't even playing for the under-21s. Is that correct? I know he's never played for the under-21s in England, and they just Tuchel just brought him straight in. He's been thrown into the limelight a lot, and he's looked really good a lot of the time. Miles Lewis-Skelly, like he inverts into midfield. He's done some excellent defensive 1v1 work as an inverting left back. He's massive future. Do you know what I mean? So Arsenal fans, understandably, very excited about him. But like, you know, it's tough to criticize a kid for doing these things on this stage. He shouldn't have to burden criticism for that. Do you know what I mean? When he's been just chucked in. So I'm not going to do that. As much as I like to banter and laugh at Arsenal, let's be fair, guys. Let's be fair. But the penalty is missed by Vitinha because he does some knobhead little walk up and then kicks it. The placement's excellent, but because he's just sort of moonwalked up to the ball, there's no nuts on the ball. There's no gonads. There's no venom, mate. And allowing Raya to get down and be like, thank you very much, saves the goal. Ousmane Dembele comes on for Bradley Bacola. And then Hakimi gets on. It was an assist for Dembele. Dembele has got 1,000 goals and assists. There he is. That's the names of them this season. He's just... everything he touches turns to gold, Dembele. It's an amazing Hakimi shot. He fires off another shot later that just goes wide with just incredible power. Hakimi... great goal from him. Like I said, him and Nuno Mensch, incredible players, incredible fullbacks, very attacking. And then Saka gets one back in the 76th minute to make it 2-1 on the night. Really not a good look for the captain, Marquinhos. I think I can't remember which Arsenal player. It might have been Saka, where he's against him and he basically just flops, dives and puts his hand around the ball. He's just really soft, basically. Never a foul in a million years. Saka scores a good goal. Saka nearly scores immediately, which would have been an equaliser on the night, making it 3-2 to PSG. He just misses. And that would have been probably with stoppage time, with like a quarter of an hour to go, would have been, you know, equal in the tie. And PSG probably would have, like, you know... so-and-so'd themselves. But no, they get through, and félicitations les Parisiens. 3-1 on Ag. It really is that tie at home that screwed Arsenal. It really is that tie at home that screwed them. Where do they go from here? Like I said, it's a huge talking point about Mikel Arteta. I mean, presumably, he's not going to get sacked, but I'm just interested in what Arsenal fans think. Like, I wonder, like, would they want another coach, or do they think Arteta just needs a striker? Get Arteta, Victor Gyökeres, do you know what I mean? Or whoever, just a good striker that's going to gobble up chances, and a left winger. Because if they complete that attack with the functionality, because they are a robust team, Arsenal. They score corners, which is a good thing. I mean that in a good way. They're like they don't get slapped about. So you add like a good striker and a left winger, and they could be mustard. And I guess you give that to Arteta. But do you trust Arteta to like do that right? Because Saka, he inherited Saka, and what attackers has he bought? Havertz, Jesus, Trossard, Raheem Sterling on loan. Like, is it gonna work? Like, I don't know. Anyway, let me know what you think. Thanks for joining me as always. Multiple uploads on this channel every single ruddy day, mate. So consider subscribing if you like it. Thank you for liking the video, though. And I hope to see you back here soon. Peace.